Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. So, today I'm very pleased to have CA Akshay Purandare on our show. And I will tell you later how we met, but it's been a very amazing journey with him that I've known him. So, giving you a brief introduction about him, he is a chartered accountant with an amazing 12 years of experience, and he's now practicing from Mumbai. So, what we'll do is, Akshay, first of all, welcome to our show.
My pleasure, Parinita. So, thanks for inviting me on your show for this podcast.
It's my pleasure, Akshay. Okay, so to begin with, I would like to ask Akshay, just in some lines, if you can tell us about your journey as a chartered accountant.
Sure. So, my journey as a chartered accountant started right from 10th standard. So, in 10th standard, after giving board exams, I was evaluating what career option should I choose. So, there it started. Both one of my mamaji was chartered accountant, and one mamaji uh, is a MBBS, a doctor.
Okay.
So right from my childhood, I had two people who I idolized. One of them was chartered accountant and one was doctor. So I had only two professions in front of me, doctor or chartered accountant. And coming from a humble family background, I always thought that if I could secure good marks or I could stood up in the merit list, maybe I could think of having MBBS as career. Naturally, because the entire MBBS course is quite expensive in terms of financial cost.
Right.
Fortunately, I did not score the marks which I was expecting in 10th standard. Uh, so natural choice was to become a chartered accountant. And I had this career orientation program at one of uh, career guidance academies in Pune about chartered accountancy course, and I was pretty much impressed about what chartered accountants do in terms of auditing or in terms of taxation or in terms of consulting and advisory work. So there itself, my decision was made that CA is only option which I need to choose, and after becoming a chartered accountant, I will be practicing. So my
Oh,
fate was sealed in 10th standard only that I will be practicing chartered accountant.
okay. Otherwise, we would have been calling you Dr. Akshay today.
Fortunately, it is not Dr. Akshay, it's CA Akshay.
Yeah, Akshay. Amazing. So you have moved from Pune to Mumbai to practice.
Yes, so recently I moved from Pune to Mumbai. My entire career, my education, my articleship, even after post articleship, after becoming chartered accountant, I spent my career in Pune. And I started my practice in Pune with one of my colleague from my firm.
Okay.
So entire career till now was in Pune. And now I would like to continue my career in Mumbai because the way India is moving in terms of economical superpower. Mumbai is financial hub, we all know. And if you are not part of Mumbai, which is financial hub of India or financial capital of India, in this entire journey of becoming a superpower in world, then I think you are missing out on opportunity. So that is why I decided to move to Mumbai recently. Of course, I'm working in Pune also, so I'm handling clients all across India. But
Mhm.
majorly, I would like to be a part of this entire journey of India to become a superpower.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's a very well thought about plan.
Yes.
So if if I ask, so for there are a lot of CAs uh, in Pune, or in even more interior parts of India. Like you said, ki India is growing and Mumbai is one of the of course it's a financial hub and one of the very fast growing cities. So people who are not able to move to Mumbai, what can they do to enhance their practice if they want to take this opportunity?
Right. So post pandemic, I think entire scenario has changed. Earlier, it was more like physical meetings or physical presence was important. But post-pandemic, this scenario has completely changed. People are okay to have online meetings. People are okay to have discussions over phone. People are okay to be handled from different cities. Like I am doing work of a company which is located in Hyderabad,
Wow.
or I'm working on a company which is located in Bangalore, sitting
Mhm.
at Pune or Mumbai or anywhere else. I can sit and work on it. So it's not like the old days where physical presence was important. So even if you are in tier one, tier two cities, it does not matter.
Mhm.
What matters at the end of day is the quality of service which you are giving to your clients, the continuous support which you are giving to your clients. If that is happening, the city or geographical limitation does not matter.
Perfect. Very, very well said. Seriously, it's like, uh, matlab, that's one of the pros of pandemic, that people have started accepting
Definitely.
that work can be done remotely. You really don't need to be physically present.
Correct. And that understanding is there even after we are almost towards the end of that pandemic, but that understanding between people is still continuing.
Continue. Right. So, I have been interacting with a lot of students. I have that, I teach them. So, those final year students and IPCC students.
Mm,
And when I interact with them, ki, what is your plan ahead? What kind of practice or what kind of, profession in CA? What field are you going to choose?
mm.
There's a lot of reluctance around statutory audit as a practice. They feel, are statutory audit, to, it's kind of, it's very boring, it's very monotonous, or we really don't like it, but wo karna padta hai wala. So people are not willingly taking over statutory audit or not very excited about it.
Okay.
Why do you think so this is happening, and what is your take on this?
Okay. So I will answer this question right from my articleship days. So as I said, when I decided to be a chartered accountant, practicing chartered accountant, I wanted to practice in core domain area of statutory audit. So when my articleship interviews were going on, I was selected at Kirtan and Pandit Chartered Accountant, which was my first preference, and they selected me for accounting advisory work or accounts outsourcing work. But at the same time, during that interview, I told the interviewer that I want to do statutory audit, and that is the only place I would like to be. So again, they consulted, HR consulted with their partner, and then they said that no, you can do statutory audit. So my journey with statutory audit started from my articleship, and I'm still doing statutory audit as a practice for my life. So it comes to me as a passion. But yes, what you are saying is kind of tone in the articleship days for this generation. What I have seen is somewhere statutory audit is lost in documentation.
Okay.
Right? So
Right.
the perception is more that people are doing only documentation in statutory audit,
Hmm.
whereas statutory audit is rising above the transaction levels, and that is something which is missed at many statutory audits. I feel every statutory audit is a dynamic engagement. You get to learn about new things or new uh, innovative things at every client place. So statutory audit, even for articleship, I would say when you are doing statutory audit, you need to have understanding of uh, accounting, Companies Act, GST, income tax, everything you should be aware of. So if you are doing statutory audit, rather it would help you in preparation of your CA final examination.
That's an amazing thought. Thank you. This will help me.
Definitely.
Interactions also. And yes, like you rightly said, you get to learn so much about the company. You get to learn the in and out of the company.
Correct.
And I think, yes, I think that perception of ki statutory audit pe jaake wo khali wo tick mark karna hai for an article, thinking from their perspective.
Correct.
But very frankly, it's upon you. What do you take back from any kind of work? Are you learning? Are you willing to do that extra, step and learn actually,
Absolutely.
and not do the robotic, that perception of robotic work? So
Correct.
actually, that's a very, very, very good point. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
audit is my passion. So I can talk entire day about audit.
I very frankly, I've met such less people who are so passionate about audit. Matlab they'll always try and search for something new or
Mhm.
taxation. A lot of CAs are very this thing for taxation that they love tax, but
Mhm.
statutory audit ke liye itna pyar.
I will share one of my experiences when I was invited at one of the schools where they wanted to have this kind of career awareness program. What chartered accountants or what can you do in commerce as a career? So it was for a school. Of course, 8th, 9th, and 10th standard students were there,
Okay.
and I gave them brief background about all professional courses which are there on commerce side, like uh, you could be cost accountant, you could be a chartered accountant, you could be company secretary. I gave them awareness about MBA, BBA, law courses also. I gave them awareness. And at the end of session, there was, of course, FAQs. And one of the student asked me, I want to be an investment bank. And what should I do to become an investment banker? So I was very much surprised that a student in the 8th, 9th, or 10th standard is asking about investment banking.
Thank
So immediately I asked that girl, why do you want to be an investment bank? And very surprising answer which she gave to me was that she saw some superstar in the movie being a investment banker, and that is why she wanted to be an investment banker. So most of the things that we hear, or we see, or we idolize, we think that certain things are in that way only, but it is not the same scenario. If in our firm, what we are seeing is currently we have taken so many interviews for articleship batch in the new course of 2 years.
you.
So most of the article students are rather preferring statutory audit than taxation or advisory or consulting work.
Wow, that's nice. That's really, really a very important step because this is something that is a core for a CA. So
Correct.
actually, this is a very required change. Very nice. And like, there is something that you said about perception.
Correct.
Perception is very, very important. And I think there is a gap in how CAs are perceived.
True.
Be it the like you said, movies, yeah, Bollywood, yeah, in general, how CAs are perceived, that gap is there. And
Yeah.
unless that gap is filled, or we do something to fill that gap,
Correct.
it
If
will
you
always
ask what is your image of a chartered accountant, so most of the people will see that we see a people with glasses sitting in between large files. So that is
ha
the question about chartered accountant.
right. There is this branding or a perception ki, okay, CAs are like this, but okay, it's evolving, I
True.
think.
True.
And
By the way, you don't see any files in my cabin.
everything is digitalized now.
Correct. Correct.
Right. And taking this forward of the image and the branding thing,
Mm,
so so we met at the ICI Startup Sphere event, right?
mm.
And so in the past couple of years, if we notice that ICAI has been organizing a lot of these such kind of events.
Correct.
So uh, and this is some my personal opinion, this is somewhere changing the perception of CAs a bit, because a
Yes.
lot of people have been invited, a lot of good celebrities in this field of finance and companies, entrepreneurs have been invited. So why do you feel these kind of networking events are important for a chartered accountant?
Right. So, if you ask me what is important to be in practice, I would say networking is more important as core skills to be in practice. Because at the end of day, when you are at a platform where stalwarts are there, they are talking about new technologies, they are talking about new things which are there in the global market. You get to know about those things over such events. So my first experience of such large event with ICA was World Congress of Accountants,
Right.
which happened last year, and I would certainly say that I was proud that ICI conducted at such a grand level, and at such a global forum. And the people came from around the world, and they were impressed how this event was organized. The speakers, the kind of speakers who were there, the type of arrangement which was there at BKC Mumbai, people were stunned that uh, rather it was first time happening in India, the World Congress of Accountants, and first event in India was at such a high level. And you would be surprised. Recently, I merged with the firm Kirtan and Pandit Chartered Accountant. Our firm was merged with them. So both me and my partner, we started our articleship from Kirtan and Pandit. We
Wow.
started our own practice, and now we have merged with Kirtan and Pandit again. So
Arey, congratulations.
thank you, thank you. So actually, that discussion about the merger triggered from that World Congress of Accountants. So if
Oh,
you are asking me how these events are in terms of networking, so that
hmm.
is just a teaser which I could share. So entire our merger talk started from that event, and not only us, we merged with another two firms. So another two firms came into Ketan and Pandit. The other firm out of three, so two firms, that discussion started from World Congress of Accountants.
Okay, amazing. So yes, many such business networking really happens. And so if I share my personal experience also, so even I, got in touch with so many CAs, because
Mm,
CAs are my clients. So, I got in touch with so many CAs, got to interact with them, understand their challenges and what is actually happening in the world of chartered accounting.
right,
So yes, please, if you're a CA, please start attending these kind of events. And ICI is actually taking a lot of efforts to organize a big
absolutely,
large scale events. So even the startup sphere was an amazing, a very good event. My
correct,
personal experience, of course, not as big as the World Congress, but
right.
uh, of course, it was still a good. Coming back to your statutory audit,
Mm,
your field of expertise, so for especially for people who are our listeners who are new into statutory audit and they want to learn more, what are the kind of, because we are seeing technology evolving every day, and
correct.
what are the new tools or technologies that these CAs need to be aware of when they are entering into statutory audit, and how is it benefiting statutory audit as a practice?
Right. So it's actually very interesting question. So there are a lot of things happening over last few years. The complexity of transactions have completely changed. When I started my articleship, there used to be physical query sheets which I used to write about auditing, and then we used to discuss with our manager or partner about those query sheets. Now those query sheets are not there. We are uh,
Right.
we are reviewing, rather as a partner I am reviewing statutory audit within the software.
Right.
So that technological change I have personally experienced. So my first audit also, when I asked that CFO to give me a trial balance, he gave me this much big printed copy from dot matrix printer, and I audited that. I started audit from that printed trial balance. Now
Right, right.
you won't see printed trial balance. So, of course, over years, these technologies have changed, technologies have evolved. But in terms of auditing, yes, there are a lot of changes globally as well as within India. And if you are not ready to adapt to these changes, I think you will miss out on the opportunities. Like we used to do analytical reviews from Excel few years back, but now there are softwares, there are tools which we can use for having analytical reviews, exception reports. These can be generated from the tools, and you can actually have uh, value addition to your clients when you are using those tools and softwares and technologies.
Wow, that's
Recently,
amazing.
I've heard post pandemic, someone was carrying out physical verification of inventories by using drones. So this is how technology is changing, and if you are not coping up with the technology, I think you will be lost.
Lost. But there is also this, a fear and, a lot of thing going around that technology will replace auditors, or, AI automation will really do away with the auditing part for CA because it'll all be automatic. And but is that true?
Fortunately, time will only tell about this because we are at a stage where we are actually giving these inputs to AI. So AI is actually using human intelligence. So we are at a stage where these inputs are coming from human intelligence to AI. And I don't know over 10 years what could be the scenario of having this AI, blockchain, and RPA and robotics in the field of auditing. But certainly, I would say that decision making and ability to have or express your opinion as a statutory auditor will
Mhm.
always be there as a part of person who is signing off the financial statement. So, functional knowledge and skills, if you are having those technical abilities, I think you will never be replaced.
Very nice. Great. So that's a bit of relief.
I would say, as of now, that is a relief.
Okay. So, I was going through your LinkedIn page
Okay.
and I saw a very interesting post on why startups are failing.
Hmm.
So, if you can, talk more about your opinion that, in spite of this whole startup thing that is happening in India, a lot of startups are failing.
Hmm.
Why is it so?
See, my understanding is over last 10, 12 years, I have worked with lot of startups. When the Startup India, Stand Up India scheme was launched in India,
Hmm.
rather, I was very passionate about speaking on those opportunities for startups. So, lot of ideation and kind of intangibles are there with startups. If those intangibles and the technology which these startups are owning, if they are not properly governed, they are bound to fail because
Okay.
all these people who are passionate about this technology, these intangibles which they possess, they are least aware about the governance and governance practices which are there. And certainly, a chartered accountant has to be there to give this kind of corporate governance practice and make them aware about the compliances. Most of the organizations fail because they were not managed properly in terms of their finances.
Right, right.
And chartered accountants have this habit of telling no to people. It is very important. If
Very important. Right.
if you are not ready for taking your funding round, and still if you are going in the market because finances are available, you don't know what will happen to you if you are not ready to accept that kind of responsibility to take funding from outsider.
Hmm.
Only chartered accountant will say you that you are not ready for this and you have to accept or rely on your chartered accountant's advice.
So you
So
believe that?
my take on startups, why they are failing. The major reason is because of lack of proper corporate governance. And
Oh,
recently, there are a lot of talks at P level or at institutional investor level that
mhm.
the corporate governance structure has to come from them as an investor to the start.
Right. I think this was one of the very important discussions, even in the startup sphere that we attended,
Correct.
and where a lot of entrepreneurs, like say, we had Nitin Kamath, we had Aman Gupta, even they were so, stressing on this aspect that governance has to be there, smart decision making, especially related to finances, has to be there if a startup wants to, succeed. And especially when we are seeing such big startup names like Baiju's, which are failing, which are, struggling to survive each day, which is passing by. So
Right.
we see how these kind of governance and good decision making is very, very important. And so, Akshay, you feel that CAs are very, very important in the success of startups, right?
Correct.
Great, awesome. So, one more aspect where CAs can, you know,
Most
practice.
definitely. Yes. So,
Right.
being part of startup ecosystem is entirely a dynamic game, and you need to be ready to play that dynamic game.
Awesome. So, Akshay, you have been practicing since good 12 years, which is, so we can call you a seasoned practitioner now. So,
I feel old.
Okay. What has helped you develop your firm? How was it at the start? What were the major challenges, and how have you developed it to what it is today?
Right. So I would say having your own practice is like having your own startup.
Right? Of course.
Your IT head of your organization, your HR head of your organization. Of course, you have to be operational head of your organization, and you need to manage your finances of the organization. So it's like a startup if you are having your own practice. And certainly, these are not the days where you can practice on your own. You need to have partners. You need to have people who can give different services, complementary services than what you are doing. Like for example, if I am doing statutory audit, I need to have partners who are giving taxation services of direct tax, indirect tax, or even I need to have a partner who is giving services of risk management and internal audit. So certainly, as an individual, if you want to be in practice, that is very difficult nowadays. In previous generation, yes, we have seen a lot of chartered accountants practicing on their own. But nowadays, if you want to be in practice, I think having alliances, having partnerships, having network, even ICI has allowed network firms to be there so that you can have geographical presence across India. So
Right.
I think that is very important if you are into practice, and that has allowed us also to be in practice because me and my partner we were giving complementary services, and now to be on a larger scale, we have merged our firm with one of the large size firms so that we can have geographical presence across India. We can have multifunctional presence which we too could not give as a two partner firm. So that is how we evolved over years. And most importantly, investing in technology and right people is very crucial. So if you are not investing in right technologies, as I said, you will be lost. And I still remember when we were very young into practice, 2 years into the practice, what we decided at that only with 8 people organization, we decided to hire HR in our organization.
Oh,
And
wow.
that HR function helped us grow in terms of manpower, in terms of having structured policies within the organization. And believe me, within next 2 years, from 8, we moved to 25 people organization. So
Wow.
gradually it started with a very small function, but having right people which are non-technical as well can help you grow your practice because nowadays if you talk to any chartered accountant, having right people within organization is a big challenge.
Big challenge, right?
We are now 800 people organization having multiple locations across India, but still we are facing this challenge that we are not getting right people which we want for a particular job.
Wow. A couple of takeaways from your journey, which even I believe in a lot. One is the fact that at the right time, even if you're a small firm, you need to invest in things. Like,
Correct.
the problem is people see that, if uh, it as a expense or a spending, I have to
Correct.
spend on technology or I have to spend on HR. But rather than an expense, look it at as an investment, because these are
Correct.
your investment for your future. So
Absolutely.
when that shift happens, that mindset shift happens, I think growth starts from there. And
Correct.
this is a big obstacle which I see. And second is the partnership pact. So it's very important to collaborate, to partner your, expertise or your strengths with people. And, institute, in fact, themselves, they've taken this statistics that more than 90% of the CA firms in India are with partners less than 5, and
Correct.
majority of them, more than 50%, are sole proprietors.
Correct. I'm hoping this scenario will change over
Change.
coming years, and I see there is lot of movement, lot of discussions within the fraternity. Whenever we are interacting at ICI events or networking events conducted by ICI, as you said, people
Hmm.
are talking about mergers, people are talking about networking, people are talking about collaboration. So I see there will be lot of changes over next few years.
Yes, and that will be a very, very good, pleasant change for us.
Correct.
Something which will really accelerate the growth that we are looking for CAs.
True.
Super. So, as a statutory auditor, if I ask you, and as especially as per your good experience of 12 years, what are the top three skills you feel a CA should have to become a good statutory auditor?
Okay. So I will keep technical skills aside, and I will talk about other three skills which you should have, because for a statutory auditor in India there are so many laws. You need to be technically very sound to execute a statutory audit. So I will keep technical and functional knowledge aside, and I will talk about other three skills which a statutory auditor can have, and he can enjoy if statutory audit, if he or she is having those kind of skills. So first, I would say that analytical abilities. So, in statutory audit, if you are able to analyze the data, if you are able to analyze the processes, if you are able to analyze the conditions of the organization, you will be able to execute a better statutory audit. So that is number one. Number two is very basic, common sense, or what we can say, general awareness. So that is
Interesting.
and ability to see transactions from above. So that is rise above the transaction. And if you could see the transaction from a third party perspective or independent perspective,
Right.
and if you are able to see the transactions in holistic view, you can be certainly a very good statutory auditor. And rather, I say if you are a statutory auditor as a partner of a executing or engagement partner of a statutory audit, you must have ability to say no to promoters and founders of the organization.
That is one skill I think a lot of people
Yes.
need to learn to say no. Very important. So such good points, because I think if you accumulate all these skills which you mentioned, Akshay,
Mm.
that also helps you give that extra value to your client, where you're not only doing your job,
Yes.
which is assigned, but you can add so much more value, so give so much more extra to your clients. I think that's very, very important as a CA.
Correct. I think value addition is everybody talks about value addition, but certainly very few people actually give value addition to their clients.
Because they're so engrossed in providing the service कि हाँ मुझे काम करना है, मुझे खत्म करना है. But
Correct.
taking that extra step is very, very, it's important. People know, like you said, people know that, but it's very difficult to really give that extra to your clients.
Correct.
So you know because my a lot of clients are practicing CAs, I
Mm.
want to ask from your perspective, what is the importance of branding for a CA? Because it becomes very difficult to market or advertise yourself in this field,
Mm.
get clients. Why do you think, or even if I'm not talking only from the client perspective, but why is branding so important for CAs?
Why not? I would say. See, of course, there is a code of conduct and code of ethics which any practicing chartered accountant or a member of institute needs to follow. So, any profession, I think they cannot do advertising or business promotion activities. But branding is one thing which I would say, for me, branding is thought leadership. So whatever technical
Right.
knowledge you are having, if you are expressing that technical knowledge or giving that technical knowledge to society as a whole or industry as a whole, that thought leadership is branding for me. So as an individual, that stands out if you are doing these activities for your own brand. And branding, rather, as we discussed, people have perception about chartered accountant. So it's old person sitting in office having files around him. That is the perception. So I would say that is the branding of a chartered accountant, which is
Right.
there. So gradually it is changing. So that is how branding is evolving for a chartered accountant. So a lot of chartered accountants are doing a lot of things within the constraints of ethical standards of ICI. So for me, branding is very critical. Like recently, I met a few people from one firm. They were friends from college, but of course,
Okay.
when I took their visiting cards, I could see the cards having different GSM for same firm, cards having different fonts for the same firm. So that is actually a branding activity which needs to be done
Done.
by this firm. So at firm level also, branding is very crucial, that your entire printing material is aligned, your publications are aligned. So that is branding for me, and I think every firm or every chartered accountant uh, should have their branding exercise carried out in a proper way, because as I said, there are a lot of changes happening around the world, and the things which are allowed as per code of conduct of ICI, I think we should do that.
Yes. And actually the thing is people are so scared, or the second very important aspect, people are not aware. They are like they're so closed into ki are so many things are not allowed.
Hmm.
Fine, but there are so many things which are allowed. So I think it's time that people start recognizing what is allowed and start taking those opportunities and working on that.
Yes, yes. So that is
That
optimizing. Nothing but optimizing the things which we can do.
optimization. Right. So, Akshay, on the end note, if you wish to add something from your side, or you want to, inspire more people to take up statutory audit, what do you feel?
I would say be ready to change, or be ready to accept the changes which are happening. Invest in technology and people. And some wise person rightly said that your network is your net worth. So do networking.
Awesome. Such a great conversation, Akshay. I
I
I
enjoyed talking to you. Yes,
I in fact learned so much from you, and you've given me such good points to inspire my or tell my students ki, don't be afraid or don't go as per the perception of statutory audit. It in fact is very evolving, and CAs really need to start bucking up and taking this very seriously, because this is something that can change the way companies even operate you know
correct.
be- so thank you so much. You really helped us understand how CA firms can grow. Partnerships, networks are so important, and actually if you really want to enhance your growth rate, you really need to focus on strategic alliances and collaborations that you can go forward for. And also thank you for changing the perception and keeping this statutory audit such importance, which is the core of any CA. Audit
My
is something.
pleasure. So statutory audit is my passion, and I will go on talking about statutory audit, as I said, for entire day or entire year.
Please, please, I look forward for more such interactions. I hope we can have a episode 2 where we only
Definitely.
talk about statutory audit.
Sounds good. Yes.
Awesome. So,
Yes.
on that note, thank you so much, Akshay. It was really a pleasure to have you with us, and keep inspiring people, keep, growing. All the best.
Thank you, Parinita, for inviting me to your show, and I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.